Hey, you. Yeah, you. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Depression. I once heard that a great example of depression is when you're married to a beautiful woman. You have millions of dollars in your bank account. You have awesome kids. Your life is just great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with your life. But yet, for some reason, when you wake up, you just don't want to get out of bed. And it's not because it's raining outside or someone stole your car or there's a fucking blizzard just swept over the city. It's because you just have this feeling in your gut or your soul or just somewhere in your body and you don't feel like waking up. And I don't even mean waking up like physically, like out of a bad dream or an awesome dream, but just you don't feel like getting out of bed. You're very sad. And you don't know why. I mean, you just wake up with this horrible feeling, like what's the point, Not like a suicidal feeling or nothing like that, but it's like what's the point? Like if I get up and do some things today or if I work or see some friends, I'm just going to keep repeating the same pattern again and again and again. And, you just have this weird feeling just wash over you and you wonder, what's the point? I mean, why do I feel so down? Why do I feel so guilty for no reason? Is it because of things I've done in my past? Is it things that I'm gonna do in the future? Is there things that I'm going through right now that's affecting me? But a lot of times depression is just rage turned inward, and it's a very hard feeling to let go, because then you're just gonna have to keep facing these challenges again and again and again, and you wonder, like, what's the point? And a lot of it is just hereditary. It just gets passed on to generation, and then you get it, and you're not really sure how to deal with it. A lot of times you think you're alone in this world, and no one can help you. But believe it or not, there are people that can help you, and there are other people that actually go through the same shit you do. All I'm saying is depression hits everybody. And there's many different examples of depression. For example, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had a whole podcast before about gambling. Do I play the odd pro line here and there? Of course I do. Sometimes I get mad over the stupidest shit, or even just depressed after I have a horrible loss. I'll bet like a win and two ties, and then one team does not tie. I know it's a stupid thing to be depressed about, especially when I only bet $2. But little things like that, just really depress the fuck out of me. Or even like if I have to put up with, stupid people or weird things at work, and weird people in my life that you think to yourself, like, these are my friends, and then you got some good friends, you got some bad friends, and then you're like, oh god, these people are fucking weird. And then you think to yourself, like, maybe I'm the weird one, maybe I'm the one that's out of place here. And then you start to feel guilty about your moods, and and then you just ramble on and on about a podcast. It just doesn't matter. Either way, if you feel depressed, talk about it with someone. It's that simple. Actually, it's not that simple at all. What the fuck am I saying? You see, That's the problem with a lot of people. Like they think, depression is just some kind of weird joke. And it's not. I mean, it's actually a very serious thing. You go to the doctor and you tell them, look, doc, I'm depressed, what can I do? And he goes, well, I'm not a therapist. You have to see a therapist. And then you go see a therapist, which I believe is, I think on the low side, 150 an hour. And then, you tell them, look, I'm depressed. And then you tell them why you're depressed, and they might give you some medication for it. And you take the medication and that doesn't work, and, you want to improve in your life, and it's hard to just function with every fucking thing out there, and it gets really confusing sometimes. It's just an ongoing circle that just keeps going again and again and again, and you really just don't know how to deal with it. Like I said before, you try to deal with it through different things. Maybe try exercising. You could do that. I mean, maybe if you're a little overweight or a lot overweight, and maybe you don't like the way you look, that could send you in a bad depression. The certain foods you eat too, all these sugars and toxins that we eat every day, I'm sure does not affect our mood very well. And, as much as I would like to eat broccoli for the rest of my life every day, no, I'm not going to do that. But then, your body suffers for it. I'm not just saying just me, just any fat slob, but at the same time, it may not even be just, your heaviness, maybe it's a mental heaviness, Rodney Dangerfield always had this good joke, like you wake up and you just wake up to the heaviness, and it gets to a point where you just, it just becomes your friend, so you wake up and you say, oh, hi, heaviness, how are you? Is it going to be a good day today? No, you're going to be drinking early today. No, it's going to be fucked up. So, could you make friends with the heaviness? Technically, I mean, I guess you could, or maybe it's just the way you look. Like maybe, you look so bad, but like your self image of yourself is bad, but at the same time, like you don't know that because you're just so used to looking at your ugly self, maybe you can't stand the person you see in the mirror. And maybe it's not even a physical thing. Maybe it's like a mental thing. I took this class one time, and the teacher used an example of a person who was just basically addicted to cocaine. And this person did so much cocaine that her nose just completely fell apart. Like she had no nose. Like it was just, there was nothing there. But then every time she looked in the mirror, she would see her nose. Like nothing happened. So a lot of it is just a poor self-image of yourself. And, a lot of people have different ways of dealing with depression. I mean, a lot of people just don't want to even deal with it. Like they want to look in themselves, physically or emotionally, and just realize, look, I have a problem. I mean, in many ways, like for every problem out there, there's two solutions. There's admitting you have the problem and doing something about it. And a lot of people say that the hardest thing out of those two steps is admitting you have the problem. It's a huge hurdle just to get over, just admitting that you have this problem and you want to get help for it. But at the same time, you don't want to seem weak, and that even makes you even more depressed, because now you're like, oh shit, not only do I have this problem, and I got to share it with people, and they're going to judge me for it, and, it makes you even more sad. But it shouldn't make you sad. I mean, the people around you should always want to help you, A friend in need is a friend indeed. The same goes for family too. I mean, a lot of people want to get help for their problems, but they're afraid to admit it to their family because they don't want to hear shit every time they go out with them, and they don't want to be judged for it, and it just gets really depressing. I mean, family, holy shit. I mean, that'll definitely add to your depression. I mean, for sure, absolutely. I'm not saying my family's perfect, but at the same time, for the last, 3-4 decades almost, I've had to deal with a little thing called European guilt. Now, for those of you who don't know what European guilt is, it's that unnecessary guilt that your family gives you for no absolute reason. On some level, they actually think they're caring, but really they're not, But at the same time, they really do care for you, It just comes out completely wrong. Completely wrong. Perfect example of that. If you ever watch Everybody Loves Raymond, the mother, she will, say things in a way where she is sort of trying to care, but at the same time is really burning you a new asshole. And, it's that subtle messagery that, will drive you nuts, and you think back on it and you're like, okay, like, what did I do to deserve this? Do I deserve this? And, it sucks. It really sucks, and and then you think, this is your family. Like, this is the people that come down on you, and, maybe they want something good for you. And I'm sure they do. They always say, mothers know best. But the ultimate irony is that they really know how to make you feel worse. I mean, and I'm sure they don't mean it, it's just, their past generation that they had to deal with. And then again, it gets passed on, and then sooner or later, you're going to start undermining people and treating them like assholes. And, you don't mean to, it's just embedded in you after all this time. And you wonder, okay, so maybe this is the way I have to live, and then some days you just reflect on all your badness that you've done, and then of course that leads to depression. Or you're just sitting on the edge of your couch and just wondering, why? Why do I feel like this? I know it sounds like I'm making a joke out of all this, but like, it is a serious thing. But at the same time, like, I'm just trying to say that there's so many things that cause depression, If it's genes, if it's, you woke up out of bed and you tripped over the fucking carpet for the 8th time, it just, there's so many things that can affect a mood. That's all. That's all I'm saying, Now, here's one thing I found on the World Wide Web that says 10 signs that you're suffering from depression. Number 1 is persistent sadness. Overwhelming and persistent sadness is common in this condition. There is often a sense of hopelessness that makes life hard to live. The depth of this can make it impossible to see the good in life. Minor inconveniences can seem like enormous obstacles that can't be overcome. When noticed in the early stages, treatment may help. Well, like I said before, you trip over that little fucking carpet when you wake up, that'll throw off your whole day. A lot of people can let shit like that go. A lot of people, from then on, their whole day is ruined. Number 2, self-loathing attitude. People who are depressed often turn their misery inward. They might doubt that they can do anything right and are often critical. This can lead to frustration, which can continue the downward spiral. When low self-esteem and self-loathe are combined, suicidal thoughts might occur. This is dangerous and can lead to self-harm or death. Well, like I said before, again, this is a very serious matter. And if you honestly feel like this, you have to see a doctor right away. It sucks to feel that feeling, where you can't express your misery, and you have to just keep it in. That's what they mean by inward, Like I said before, depression is rage turned inward. You're frustrated at something, and instead of talking about it and letting it go, you're holding it in. Just builds up and up and up, and you got to let it out somehow. Number 3, loss of interest in all activities. Loss of interest in favorite activities can occur. Lack of focus can make tasks difficult. This can lead to a reduced performance, which brings the person back to the negative self-thought process. It is a vicious circle. Loss of libido can even make intimacy non-existent. This may impact their personal life. Basically what they're saying is you get so depressed you don't feel like fucking, and look, again, it sounds like I'm trying to make a joke of this, but at the same time, it sucks, because think about it. Like, if you don't feel loved, how are you gonna make love to someone? Deep, huh? I know. But I'm being serious. It's very hard to share love with someone when you don't feel loved yourself. So again, it's important to talk about it and make sure that other people know what you're going through. Number 4, irritability and isolation. They may lose the ability to act in a socially appropriate manner. Irritability can make them difficult to be around. Others might see them as being mean. This causes them to isolate themselves from others. They prefer being alone for hours at a time. Speaking with others only when necessary is preferred. Basically, let's say if you go to a party and you see one person, maybe that person's being, very antisocial, but then again, you might think of it as, wow, that person's just being a dick. Like, why is he or she not saying anything? I mean, the person's just sitting there, You ever go on the subway sometimes and you just see people there and, maybe they're sad, maybe they're tired, whatever. But, it's like the same thing. It's like, just don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know what that person's going through, You don't want to make them feel worse, Don't make fun of them. That's not cool. So, just let the person be. And, hopefully, if I can give any advice to the people out there, just feel free to talk about it with someone, or find someone close to you that you trust and, you can share, so you don't feel isolated, And there's times too, where, people just want to be alone, but at the same time, it's not good to be alone all the time because then you just go nuts, You might as well just be in jail. So, no disrespect to the people in jail, unless you guys did something, or girls did something really fucked up. But I'm just saying, there's a whole big world out there, Go out there and enjoy it. Number 5, anxiety. Low self-worth can lead to anxiety. They worry about their personal and professional future. They may feel certain that they are likely to fail at both. Feelings of anxiety may be absent in severely depressed individuals who give up altogether. they might be unable to dwell upon the consequences of their choices. Which basically means to me is that, they feel so worked up over shit. I mean, they're not going to care what the fuck happens. I mean, it gets to a point where, you're so worked up over the littlest things. I mean, obviously everyone always, worries about their personal and, professional life, but at the same time, you can't dwell on the little things, just try not to get hung up on those little things that don't fucking matter. Like if someone gives you a pen and you prefer writing in black and they give you something in blue, just let it fucking go. Okay? And again, I get it. I mean, people act in different ways. I get that. I'm not trying to be insensitive here. I'm just saying, I mean, there's times where, little things just don't matter, and it's not good to dwell on little things. And again, you hold that shit in and it's going to explode later, which is not good. Because if you explode on the wrong person in the future, this person could, have a gun, know karate. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're good at throwing, shit in their purse. I don't know. But the point is, just be careful. And just don't let the little things sweat you. Number 6, loss of energy. Lack of energy can occur due to sadness and other factors. This can move towards fatigue in severe cases. This, when combined with poor concentration, may hamper the quality of work done. Lack of energy or fatigue can lead to a downward spiral if the decrease in performance leads to job loss. Now listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I've lost many jobs in my life. I mean, sometimes I'm glad I lose the job. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it just sucks the air right out of you. Sometimes you go to a job and you're on cloud 9, and then you go there and then you realize, you get called in an office and you're like, what is this about? And then you go in there and you're like, I feel good. You guys feel good. They feel good. But then, in a couple seconds, you're not going to feel good. You know why? Because you got fucking fired, And it sucks. It comes out of nowhere sometimes, I don't know if they still give out actual physical pink slips. I mean, they made fun of it in movies, but, like when you see that piece of paper, I mean, you shit your pants, especially, when you got a family to raise and, it sucks. But, it'll suck the energy right out of you, It's like a piece of you just is gone for the next 24 hours, But, again, if you got good people around you, you're a good person, things will bounce back. I can't tell you how long it's going to take. I mean, I'm not a psychic. Even Miss Cleo couldn't predict her own death. I'm just saying, bad shit is going to happen all the time, and when you lose your energy, you just take a breather, rest up, relax, just lie on the couch, watch some Netflix, catch up on Ozark or Stranger Things or what else is good on Netflix? Well, I don't know. I was gonna recommend all the Marvel shit, but I don't know. Like everything seems to get canceled every couple weeks. So, just watch something that makes you laugh. I mean, and that's happens to me. I mean, a lot of times when I lose my energy, I'll just like watch something funny. Watch the Flintstones or Three Stooges or Family Guy or anything that'll build up my energy and just make me laugh. Number 7, disturbed sleep patterns. Depressed individuals might have abnormal sleep patterns. Insomnia may occur often. This may make other symptoms seem worse. They may sleep more than normal and stay in bed for an unhealthy amount of time. Logically, and lack of hope may make it seem impossible to ever get out of bed. It's true, you know. Talking about the last thing, you lose your job and then you wake up the next day, you're like, oh yeah, shit, I don't have to go to work. It's not my choice. I got fired, I ain't got shit to do, and I gotta look for another job. So what's the point of getting out of bed early? I might as well just chill here for a couple hours and relax. And then you wake up in the middle of the night and you got to take a piss and then you go back to bed and then you can't go back to bed because your mind's on so much other shit and then you have weird dreams about tables getting their revenge on you for chopping them up into wood and it's just weird shit but again these are things that can be, I'm not going to say easily treated, again, you got to talk to someone professionally. Don't listen to me. But, and just tell them what's happened in your life and certain things have happened, that have made me, depressed and, it's been throwing off my sleep and, it just, just talk it out. There's something there, It's more than likely not a physical thing. It's more of a mental thing, Maybe you got a lot of shit in your mind. You just got to get it out. So, once again, I said it before. I've said it, maybe 8 times already. Talk to someone. You got to talk to someone, Just make sure someone can help you, friend, family, girlfriend. Doesn't matter. Just talk it out. You got to get it off your chest. You got to stop having these weird dreams about, tables, just get it out. Number 8, change in appetite and body weight. Change in appetite is very common. Binge eating or lack of appetite can occur. This can lead to massive weight gain or loss. These same bodily changes may occur in a person who is merely in low spirits, but not depressed. The difference is the scope of the change. Depression causes more severe changes that can lead to at least a 5% fluctuation. So, what do we do when we're depressed? We love to eat. Then there's some of us that are just so sad that we can't even eat. It's just the lack of appetite is just gone. It's like you see a beautiful meal in front of you, and you're like, all right, whatever. What's the point? I'm not really that hungry. When you're happy, you enjoy eating. You enjoy the different flavors and the creativity of food, and But when you're really depressed, it's just you don't give a shit. You're just eating just to kind of survive, and you're depressed, and a lot of people don't want to survive, so they don't eat as much. They're like, fuck it. But then a lot of people feel the complete opposite, when they, feel really depressed, they're like, fuck it, I might as well just eat, who gives a shit about the way I look or live, and, I might as well just go nuts. The difference is trying not to lose the balance. If you want to go like one day without not eating a lot or just go nuts on one meal, that's fine. But, again, you just gotta get back on that horse and just keep riding. Boy, did that sound fucking cheesy. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. Just, keep living life and just, find that balance again. And, in the end, I'm not saying for sure things are going to be all right, but at the same time, you shouldn't take it on your own body. I mean, you don't deserve that unless you did do something wrong. Then well, maybe you do deserve it. But I'm just saying, like, if you feel naturally depressed, about something that just happened in your life that isn't your fault, then don't take it out on your body. That's all I'm saying. I mean, your body is like a temple. You gotta take care of it. Sometimes it's gonna need some maintenance. Sometimes you're gonna overfill it with pointless shit. But the next day you just start fresh and go at it again. Number 9, reckless behavior. Risky behavior in people who are usually cautious can occur. Finances might be affected by impulsive spending and investments. Dangerous adventure trips, indiscreet sexual activity, and substance abuse are possible. Loved ones might fear for the person's safety. Talking about the risk will likely be ineffective, and the person might get angry. Well, that's true. I mean, I've always feel like when someone goes through something big in their life, they usually go one of two ways. They either get really pissed off or they get depressed. But a lot of times, that just goes together. And the way they deal with their depression is just going nuts. Like almost living like, nothing else matters. Like every day is your last life. And yeah, fuck it. I'm going to, risk all this money on this one stock, or I'm going to go on a crazy vacation to Vegas. And, if I survive, whatever, who cares, or I'm going to do a pound of Coke and I'm going to go insane and I'm going to try heroin for the first time, or I'm going to, go to, a dangerous neighborhood and yell out, okay, look, I don't know where I'm going with this. The point is, don't act like a Malaka. Just don't do it. There's no point, I mean, think about it. It's either like you're going to have to deal with that shit later, or someone else is going to have to clean up your mess, and, that's not responsible, So, before you, go all Scarface on us, just think of the consequences. That's all. Just, think about what your actions are going to do to other people, And maybe it's those other people that have gotten you depressed and angry. But you know what? You're the one that's doing it. You're the one that's in charge of your fucking life. Don't blame someone else for, I'm mad, or I'm depressed, or I'm this and I'm that. Yeah, sure, people will get you in a bad fucking mood, or certain things that'll happen to you during the day will get you pissed off. But don't go nuts. Be marvelous, not a Malachias. And lastly, number 10, suicidal tendencies. People with this mood disorder spend a significant amount of time thinking about self-harm and might be preoccupied with death. The reckless tendencies they experience can increase the likelihood that a person might follow through with self-harm. Professional help must be sought immediately to prevent any life-threatening activity. Now, guys, I'm not going to make any jokes on this one. This is very serious. When you feel like this, you absolutely have to get professional help. And depends what country you're from. I don't know what the healthcare is, but find out about it. And, worst case scenario, if you can't afford it, I'm sure there's something your government can do. or someone around you, your family, your friends, can help you with. It sucks, you know? I mean, like, a lot of people just wake up and, they just want to do physical harm to themselves. And it's not for any reason. It's just, because, they're just dreaded with this gene and they just don't want to go on anymore. They feel that everything they do is wrong and they just want to bring self-harm to themselves. And it's not your fault. It really isn't. In most cases it's not. Like, true depression is just, it's just there. And a lot of it is things you have to deal with personally, and a lot of it is just like a mental state, just the way your body is. There's nothing there to, prevent it from ever happening again. I mean, maybe you can prolong it for, a day, an hour, even a minute. I mean, who knows? But if you ever feel this bad, and if it ever gets this bad, you have to seek professional help. I cannot stress this enough. Don't feel that, you're alone in this. Don't feel that there's nothing you can do about it. And, because, ending your life is not going to help yourself. It's just going to, affect others. And, and don't feel like, that's your fault, because you feel like that. And, it's a very hard thing to deal with, I mean, there's been times, honestly, look, I'm going to be honest, with everyone out there. There's times I felt very depressed myself. I've never been diagnosed with depression, but, there's times where, I'll wake up and I don't feel like getting out of bed. I really don't, and I consider myself very lucky to have the family and friends that I have behind me right now. I really do. Like, over the years, family, I mean, I was making jokes before, but like, family's forever. I mean, it really is. I mean, in the end, they say you don't choose your family, and that's absolutely true. It's the cards you're dealt. And, I was dealt, I would say, a pretty good hand, and a lot of times I feel guilty because I haven't felt that I haven't kept up my part of the bargain as a son, with my parents. And it sucks, I mean, that does make me depressed sometimes. I feel that I should be a better person, but at the same time, like, I do feel like I'm a good person, but maybe I'm not good enough for them, or maybe I'm not good enough for my friends. And, it does take a toll on me. Sometimes I really do think about it. I mean, there's days, it's like we were talking about before, you don't feel like going anywhere. You just feel like being alone and just being with your own thoughts, and, it'll drive you nuts sometimes. I felt like that a couple weeks ago. I felt just really down, and, a lot of things have happened in my life. I would say the last couple years, I've done a lot of reflecting on my life, and, that's why I know, like, I have a really good life. And, I mean, obviously there's times, it's going to feel like shit, but at the same time, I don't want other people to feel, like I've affected them in a negative way. And, like, you ask a lot of people that know me, I'm very, I mean, a lot of people, look, I'll be honest, a lot of people just consider me an asshole, but I just consider myself being 100% honest. So, well, maybe 99.99999, whatever. But you know, there's a very thin line between being 100% and an asshole. And a lot of times when I am honest with people, I feel bad after. I mean, one of my biggest faults is just being stubborn and not doing things right, or just not feeling a certain way I should be feeling. And I do feel bad for that. And I really am sorry if a lot of times I come off to people as very abrasive and too like in your face, whatever. And I do feel bad for that. And it really does put me sometimes in a very sad mood. It really does. I think about it at the end of the day, and it just really it's it fucks with me sometimes. It really does. But what's crazy is like I was talking about a couple weeks ago is I was talking to someone, and I just got in like an argument with someone, and like I felt bad about certain things I did. And I was thinking to myself, like, like, am I really overthinking this? Am I, I don't, like, am I really this bad of a person? And, it's funny because, like I said, I was talking to this person, and I didn't feel like that bad talking, about myself, to this person. And I don't know, the way the person like kind of acted towards it, was kind of, I don't know. I mean, like, they weren't really helping me, like, I'm not saying, I'm looking for this person, to solve all my problems, but, like, I almost felt like, a lot of people, the way they feel, and how bad they feel about themselves, they're going to pass it on to you, you know? And if you already feel depressed, on top of that, you're just like stacking on top of the pile, like more and more and more. And you're just going to feel like really depressed. I mean, you're just going to feel even worse. Like it sucks. And then I took a couple steps back, and I was like, you know what? This person is not trying to help me. Like, I think this person in many ways is trying to make me feel worse. Not even like, it may not even be on purpose, but and then I was reflecting it again on myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not really this bad of a person. I'm not this, horrible person that this person might think I am. And again, like, I don't know everything that person's going through, and I was trying to figure it out, and and a lot of it I do understand, what that person was going through, but at the same time, it was almost like, like I felt like a punching bag, and then I thought to myself, like, I don't deserve this. I mean, and then afterwards, like, I felt better about myself. I remembered all the good things, I've done in my life, and and then I thought about like my situation in the last like couple months, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not this bad of a person. I've had some bad things happen to me, and I'm still dealing with certain things in my life, but it's like I'm not as bad as I think I am. And from then on, I felt a lot better about myself. I mean, there's times where you'll still feel sad, and you just don't feel like doing anything, but really, I mean, a lot of it is just you. A lot of people will just always think the worst of you, and then if you take a couple steps back like I did, and you think to yourself, like, I'm not that bad. I'm actually a pretty good person. I may do bad things, but sometimes, but overall, I'm a pretty good person. And that's how I think a lot of people feel, because they'll see things on the internet, and holy shit, you want to talk about fucking like depression. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, I can't imagine what it's like being a 15-year-old today and being exposed to like so much shit like over the internet. And, I'm sure a lot of that shit will just make you really depressed. And, it's just like too much too soon. And just dealing with a lot of things from your family and friends, and just absorbing this like at such a young age. It's just it's crazy. I mean, no wonder like so many kids today are just on like medication, in their early teens, if not even maybe even before. I mean, who knows? Like, so a lot of it is what you're feeling. And, a lot of times I think in some cases, or in a lot of cases, we're just overthinking it, you know? Again, I like to say things like, well, okay, I'm not in this part of the world, worrying about bombs or starvation or shit like that, because like everyone has to deal with everything. And my heart goes out to those people that that has to deal with this shit. And just really take a look at yourself. I mean that's the best advice I can give someone. I mean, because a lot of it is genes, like I said before, depression. And if that's the case, find out about your family history and do something about it. I hate to say it, sound insensitive here, but don't play the victim. If you know what your problem is, go out there and solve it. Like if you got a fucking broken leg, you're not gonna just wait around for a couple weeks. You're gonna go to the hospital and fix it. Same thing with your brain or your body, or just the way you feel, or whatever. Go out there and do something about it. And then for the people out there who like feel depressed, that maybe it's not something that's gene wise, correct it. Make a list of things that you've done wrong in your life, like an actual physical list. Don't just put in your head like, oh, I did this, I did this, I did this. Write it out. Get a piece of paper and pen. We used to do it all the time in the 90s before fucking phones. But just write the shit down and, make your wrongs into rights. Sounds cheesy. I know. But you know what? I guarantee you'll probably feel better. Maybe you'll feel a lot better. Maybe you'll learn something about yourself. Maybe you'll learn never to do this shit again. Depression can take over your body completely. I saw this thing one time where I think it was at Harvard. They studied two brains, and they compared one brain who was just grew up in a normal environment, whatever, and then another brain that was like maybe not physically abused, but just mentally abused. Like, there was a physical difference. So to say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna work out all day, I'm gonna eat right all day. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But if you don't take care of what's up here, it's like Morpheus said, the body can't live without the mind. I know it's from a movie. It's a kick-ass movie. But it's true. You got to take care of yourself, and you got to take care of what's going on up here, and everything else will follow. Now, I mentioned this phone number when I talked about the suicide podcast. This is a number. I grew up as a fat kid. I'm still a fat kid. I don't care. But I always saw this number in the back of Smarties. I don't know if they still have it there. But the number is 1-800-668-6868. Now, this is for the Kids Help Phone. So I personally never called this number, but it says here this number is 24 hours a day. Like I said before, I really just feel that, a lot of kids out there today, you know, uh, you know, they're hit with a lot of things. And, I mean, this number has been around since the beginning of time, it seems like. So if you ever have a problem, give these guys a call, and I'm sure they'll help you out for sure. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was gonna go on Wikipedia here and end with the meaning of depression. And holy cow, I'm not gonna lie to you. They have an image of here of a gentleman. Holy shit! This guy scares the shit out of me. I mean, like, you ever watch Unsolved Mysteries? And they play that creepy music. They got the dude with the deep voice. From Dragnet, whatever. And they always show like a sketch of the person. And then you can't fucking sleep for 3 hours, whatever. Like this is a disturbing picture. I mean, look at this. It says here lithograph of a man diagnosed as suffering from melancholia with strong suicidal tendencies, 1892. Holy shit. I mean, oh God. Okay. The sorry. I mean, I want to end this on a serious note, but I mean, oh God. Okay, listen. You see this image, you will not be depressed. This will definitely like wake you up out of your funk for sure. That I can absolutely guarantee you. But anyways, I oh wow, yeah, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. But anyways, the point is, do not be ashamed that you're going through this. Everybody goes through this. Some people, it lasts a lifetime. Some people, it lasts just a couple minutes. Either way, talk about it with someone, friends, family, it doesn't matter. There's no shame in suffering from depression.